Hi everybody and welcome to Middle Grade Monday. I'm Lorie and I am the teen librarian at Manlius Library, and today I'm going to tell you about some new books that we have in the children's room. I'm going to start with Not If I Can Help It by Carolyn Mackler. Meet Willa. Willa Grover is a 5th grader living in the Upper West Side of New York City. She lives with her dad and her younger brother Benji during the week, and she goes to her mom and stepdad's in upstate New York on the weekends. Willa has sensory processing disorder, which in her words means that being in my body is harder than it is for most people. She gets edgy and cranky if things don't feel right or if she's overwhelmed, which means she might scream or squeal or throw tantrums when other people might just take a deep breath. Willa likes certain things certain ways. Her socks have to be soft and definitely can't have irritating tags on the inside. She loves the crunch of popcorn and nachos, but is grossed out by the crunch of a baby carrot. And slimy foods, those are the worst. But Willa can manage all of these things. But there are some things she can't deal with, like her father's big news. He's been keeping a very big secret from her, that he's been dating the mom of Willa's best friend, Ruby. Willa does not like the idea of them being together, and she does not like the idea of combining their families. And she certainly does not like the idea of her best friend becoming her sister overnight. Will she go along with all of these things? Not if she can help it. This realistic fiction book is a genuine and truthful portrayal of the challenges that come with different experiences of the world, whether personal, friends, or family. Next we have Owl's Outstanding Donuts by Robin Yardie. This one is a story full of mystery, feathers, and sprinkles. After Maddie Waters loses her mother, she goes to live with her aunt, the owner of a roadside donut shop in Big Sur, California. When an owl taps on Maddie's window one night, Maddie looks out to see something suspicious taking place nearby. The owl is Alfred, a dignified donut lover, and he alerts Maddie to the mysterious duo dumping gloop outside her aunt's Big Sur donut shop. Unfortunately, no one believes Maddie. Not about the owl or about the gloopers. And if she can't figure out who the perpetrators are, the donut shop will be closed for good. With help from her friends and from Alfred, a stuffy but good-hearted owl, she'll set out to find the culprits, facing fears that have followed her since her mother's death. This is a fun eco-mystery with a big heart. It's a quiet but quirky story about friendship, family, and donuts. Next we have The Miraculous by Jess Redmond. 11-year-old Wonder Ellis is a miracologist. In a journal he calls The Miraculous, he records stories of the inexplicable and the extraordinary, and he believes every single one. But then tragedy strikes his family. And if that can happen, then miracles can't exist. So Wonder gets rid of the miraculous and he stops believing. Then he meets Faye, a cape-wearing, outspoken girl with losses of her own. Together, they find an abandoned house by the cemetery and a mysterious old woman who just might be a witch. The old woman asks them for their help. She asks them to believe. And they go on a journey that leads to friendship, to adventure, to healing, and to miracles. This is a beautiful novel about facing grief, trusting the unknown, and finding brightness in the darkest moments. Next up, we have The Best at It by Malik Pancholi. Rahul Kapoor is heading into 7th grade in a small town in Indiana. The start of middle school is making him feel very anxious. So his favorite person in the whole world, his grandfather, Bahai, gives him some well-meaning advice. Find one thing you're really good at and become the best at it. Those 4 little words, the best at it, sear themselves into Rahul's brain. While he's not quite sure what that special thing is, he is convinced that once he finds it, bullies like Brent Mason will stop torturing him at school. And he won't be quite so worried about maybe having a crush on his classmate, Justin Emery. With his best friend Chelsea by his side, Rahul is ready to crush this challenge. But what if he discovers he isn't the best at anything? It's funny, charming, and incredibly touching. This is a story about friendship, family, and the courage it takes to live your own truth. This funny, uplifting story about identity sends a powerful, positive message about choosing self-acceptance. And finally today we have Here in the Real World by Sara Pennypacker. This is about Ware. Ware can't wait to spend summer off in his own world, dreaming of nights in the Middle Ages and generally being left alone. But then his parents signed him up for the dreaded rec camp, where he must endure meaningful social interaction and whatever activities so-called normal kids do. On his first day, Ware meets Jolene, a tough, secretive girl planting a garden in the rubble of an abandoned church next to the camp. Soon, he starts skipping rec, creating a castle-like space of his own in the church lot. Jolene scoffs, calling him a dreamer. He doesn't live in the real world like she does. But as different as Ware and Jolene are, they have one thing in common. For them, the lot is a refuge. But when their sanctuary is threatened, Ware looks to the knight's code of chivalry. Thou shalt do battle against unfairness wherever faced with it. Thou shalt always be the champion of the right and the good, and vows to save the lot. But what does a hero do? What does a hero look like in real life? And what can two misfit kids do? This is a wonderful realistic fiction book by one of my favorite authors, Sara Pennypacker, who is the author of Pax, which was one of the best books a couple of years ago. Highly recommended for every reader. So there you have 5 new books to choose from. If you are a teen signed up for the summer reading program at Manlius Library, your secret code today is BRAVE, capital B-R-A-V-E, BRAVE. Head on over to your account on Read Squared, the app or the website, and click on Middle Grade Monday Mission and enter that code to complete today's activity for your extra points. If you are a teen in Central New York and you are not signed up for the Teen Summer Reading Program, head over to our website at manliuslibrary.org and get yourself signed up today. We also have a program for kids and one for adults. And now I'm going to show you how to make a really neat little fortune teller. So now that you've got some great ideas for books to read, let me show you a really quick, easy way to make a fortune teller. All you need is a piece of paper. Regular copy paper is really the best thing to use for this. You could use construction paper. A pair of scissors, and at its most basic, a pen. I'm going to be using a bunch of gel pens today. You can use anything you like to decorate it and write your fortunes on the inside, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So let's get started. So the first thing we need to do to make a fortune teller is take our rectangular piece of paper and make it into a square. There's a really easy way to do that. You take one corner and you fold it up so that that corner matches and it's right along the line, and crease it good. Give it a good crease. Okay, and then all you're going to do is cut here to cut off this extra spot. You could decorate that, makes a great bookmark. Okay, so now we've got a triangle. When we open it up, we have a perfect square. You have a crease here, and what you're gonna do for the first step is make a matching crease here. So just see how that's folded like that? We're just gonna fold that like this. Okay? And open it up and flip it over. So what you've got is your mountain. All right. The next step is to take each of these corners and fold them in to the center. So we're going to do that. Now, and they should match up pretty perfectly if you've got a square. And as you're going along, you want to really give them good creases. Okay? And fold that up there. And fold that up there. So we've got a square, okay? Now we're gonna flip it over and we're gonna do the exact same thing going the other way. So each corner into that middle point. Okay, make sure crease it. If you don't have a fingernail to crease it, you can use the side of the scissors or the edge of your pen. All right, now we're gonna take it and fold it in half and give it a real good crease carefully because you don't want to tear these flaps here. Give that a real good crease there, okay? Then open it up and do the same thing going the other way. Give that a real good crease. All right, now you've got your fortune teller. If you flip it upside down, these pop out very carefully, and you put your fingers in here. And there you go, a fortune teller. There we go, fortune teller. Okay, now comes the fun part, and that is the decorating. You can do it however you want to. I am gonna make mine into a what should I read next fortune teller. And I'm gonna make this one very basic. We're gonna start with colors. We're gonna do purple and red and green and blue. So purple, red. You'll notice that each of these has a different number of letters in the word. Green, ooh, I think that's the end of my green pen. Okay, green. And blue. Okay, so that's the first step. Now we're gonna flip it over, because what happens is when you're telling the fortune, or in this case, deciding what to read next, the first step is to pick a color. And say you pick red, you go R-E-D. And on the inside here, you want numbers. So we're just gonna I'm just gonna take my purple pen and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so back to the beginning. We've got our colors. Okay, and we picked red, so we do R-E-D, and then inside there's numbers, so you pick one of those numbers. So say we pick number 4. So we've got our colors and we've got our numbers. Now we need the final step, which is on the inside. We're going to use different types of books to read, because I'm making a what do I read next fortune teller. So we're going to put graphic novel and non-fiction and fantasy, sci-fi, and realistic, historical, mystery, bio or auto, bio, and funny. Then you can decorate the center however you want, maybe with a picture of a book. What to read. Okay, so we've got our fortune teller. So then we close up the inside. You want to make sure your pen is dry, the ink is dried. Okay, and then we close this up. And remember, we're going to make it like this. Fun fact, if you flip it upside down, you've got a 4-person boat. I wouldn't recommend floating it in water unless you use something like wax paper or cover it with laminate. Otherwise, it'll fill right up with water. Anyways, so we've got our fortune teller. What do we read next? So we'll start with red, R-E-D. Okay, now we've got all those numbers to pick from. So I'm going to pick 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now I'm going to pick 5. So we open it up, and the next book I'm going to read is Realistic. And I gave you lots of suggestions today for realistic new fiction in the children's room chapter books. All right, there's your fortune teller. Like I said, you can decorate it however you want. You can get as fancy or as simple as you please. So there you go. 5 great books to get you going with your reading this summer, and a fun fortune teller to decide what you might want to read next. I hope you enjoyed today's Middle Grade Monday. My name is Lorie. I am the teen librarian at Manlius Library. You can find me here every Monday on the Manlius Library YouTube channel at 4 o'clock for more great middle grade suggestions. Again, your secret code for the teen summer reading program is BRAVE, capital B-R-A-V-E, BRAVE. And next week we'll be talking about mythology. If Rick Riordan is your thing, next week will be your show. We'll see you then. Have a great week and happy reading.